Hey, have you ever picked up a penny and thought, why are we still using these? Well, it turns out President Trump is thinking the same thing, and he's just announced that he's ordering the US Treasury to stop making new pennies. And here's the thing, it actually costs more than a penny to make a penny, almost 4 cents each. That means taxpayers are footing the bill for a coin that barely gets used. So, what does this mean for your everyday life? Are pennies about to disappear for good? And what happens to cash transactions if they do? Well, for years, people have been arguing about whether we should get rid of the penny. Some say it's useless, others argue it still has a place. But what really pushed this decision forward is the cost. Last year alone, the US Mint spent over $119 million just making pennies, and every single one of them cost more to produce than it's actually worth. Imagine if you had to spend $4 to make a single $1 bill. It just doesn't make sense. And this isn't the first time the idea has been brought up. Canada stopped making pennies in 2012, and other countries have done the same. Even in the US, there have been past attempts to phase out the penny, but none of them really went anywhere until now. With Trump's order, the Treasury is supposed to stop making new pennies. But here's the thing, he might not actually have the power to do that on his own. Congress has the final say when it comes to currency changes, and so far, they haven't passed any laws officially discontinuing the penny. So, what happens next? Well, one possibility is that while new pennies won't be made, the ones already in circulation will continue to be used for now. That means cash transactions will still include pennies, but over time, they could naturally fade out. Eventually, businesses might start rounding prices to the nearest 5 cents, just like Canada does. That would mean some purchases round up and others round down, balancing out in the long run. And there's another factor, how this affects businesses and consumers. On one hand, getting rid of pennies could speed up cash transactions. Think about how much time gets wasted counting pennies at the register. But on the other hand, some people worry that prices might be rounded up more often than they're rounded down, which could slowly add up over time, especially for people who rely on cash. But there's a flip side. What happens if businesses and collectors start hoarding pennies? If no new ones are being made, the ones we have could actually become more valuable, especially older ones made with more copper. Some rare pennies are already worth thousands of dollars to collectors. So who knows, maybe that jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen could be worth something in the future. Now, you might be wondering if pennies cost too much to make. What about nickels? Well, believe it or not, nickels actually cost even more to produce, about 14 cents each. So if the penny is on the chopping block, could the nickel be next? It's definitely a possibility, especially if this move is part of a bigger push to cut unnecessary costs. At the end of the day, whether you love pennies or hate them, this decision could be the beginning of a shift in how we handle small change in the US. Will it make everyday transactions smoother, or could it lead to price rounding that slowly costs consumers more? Only time will tell. Now, what do you think? Should the penny go, or do we still need it? Drop a comment below, and let's talk about it. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates on how policy changes affect your wallet. See you next time.